Hey, Doug. Just wanted to say thank you for all of your decades of leadership and stewardship of Sae Jong Camp. The impact that you've had on our children and my life has been immeasurable. I will say that having known you all of this time, you are a softer, gentler version of the 1970s Doug, who was frankly quite terrifying. So I hope you are able to enjoy your retirement and your grandchild, and we look forward to Harper being our first third generation Sae Jong camper.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Witt. I was a camper for 2 years and a staff member for 9, and I've got nothing but love for Doug. Doug has taught me so many incredible lessons, whether I was a teenager or in my 20s on staff. He's also gotten me out of a couple tricky situations, which I appreciate. But Doug, thank you so much for doing it for the culture. Big shoes to fill, but really appreciate all the time and the love that you've put into it.
Hi, SJC. I'm Jane Kim Murray. I'm Maddie and Peter's mom, and I'm also a camper from 1976, the summer that SJC began. My favorite memory of Doug is when I worked for him as an intern, and there was a day he loaned me his car and his bike. And I clumsily caused this accident where I tried to put that bike inside the car, only for the handlebar to clip the interior and tear it. So I panicked and I drove around until I could find someone to fix it. And then I went to Doug to confess what had happened. And instead of getting upset with me, Doug said, "Jane, what you just showed me is that I can trust you." And I was floored because I didn't even know that you could learn such a thing in a moment like that. And he was a great role model for me that way, to show me the kind of perspective you can have when you choose to look at a moment with that sort of lens. So thank you, Doug, for being a great boss and a great role model and a great friend. Congratulations on your retirement.
Hi, Dad. I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person to celebrate with you, but congratulations on retiring from SJC. You have made an incredible and permanent impact on camp, and it wouldn't be here without you. I can't remember a time when SJC wasn't a huge part of our lives, and literally growing up here since I was 5 years old, spending summers here every year, making lifelong friendships, and enjoying the campsite that you loved as a child was one of the best parts of my childhood. I love seeing how you came alive and poured your whole heart and soul into camp, not just during the week, but throughout the entire year. And it was important for Jonathan and I that we got to witness all of the work and sacrifice behind the scenes that you put in that nobody saw, because we were learning what it means to be truly passionate about something bigger than ourselves and how to honor the people who came before us, especially Grandma, who I know is watching right now and is smiling at you. Jonathan and I have only ever been fiercely proud of being Korean, and we carried our family and our heritage with such pride because of how you raised us, flying us across the country every year, reading us Korean folk tales as bedtime stories, putting us through 10 years of Hapkido, taking us to Korea, and pouring into us the love and pride and gratitude you have for our culture. I am so grateful to you for your passion, kindness, humility, generosity, and wisdom. And being your daughter is one of the greatest privileges of my life. Thank you for everything. I am so proud of you and I love you.
Hi, Doug. I just want to express my gratitude and thank you so much for all that you have done for camp. All that you and your family have done, particularly to your mother for being a founding mother, and to you for being an incredible director, mentor, kind of big brother, uncle, not quite dad, and for teaching me so much about camp, Korean culture, life, friendships. I don't know camp without you, and just am really, really grateful for you and everything that you've done. So thanks.
Hey Doug, congratulations on your retirement. I think there's not been a time in my life that I didn't know you and your family. Camp I started when I was 10 years old, which you were a little bit older than me at the time, so I think you were probably already a counselor. And it has been an honor to work with you, to go on all these adventures, taking on these camps with adopted kids, as well as just camp, Sae Jong Camp. And most importantly, I wouldn't have met my husband if it weren't for you and John Kim. So super grateful for that. And I guess the rest is history. But good luck to you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Doug.
We're so happy for you. I have another person who wants to congratulate you on your retirement.
Hi, dog.
This is my mother who started the camps with your parents. She wants to say congratulations.
Yes. Nice to.
Hi, Doug, it's Parker. Without you, I wouldn't be able to spend 3 years at Camp Sae Jong. With all your hard work that you put in, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done, and we'll miss you.
Hey, Doug. I just want to say thank you for putting up with me for over a decade. Over those years, for a man of very few words, you sure had a lot to say. And while I still can't tell you what a single one of those dinner signs means, I will never forget when you told us that the key to happiness is gratitude. Because the older and older I get, the more I find that to be true. So I want to make sure you know how truly grateful I am for you, for everything you did for me, everything you did for the camp, and most importantly, everything you did for the campers. You will be sincerely missed, and camp will never be the same without you. And so, yeah, I just wish you the best.
Hey, Dad. Hope you're enjoying time at Sae Jong Camp. There's just a few things I wanted to share. The first is that I'm really thankful for how you took the time to understand your Korean identity and the way that you instilled in Julie and me a sense of pride and confidence in who we are and where we come from. I've been thinking about my childhood recently, having just become a father, and I'm also grateful for the unconditional love that you showed Julie and me, your desire really to understand us, and just the wisdom that you've had that I don't think I really gave you credit for in the past. I've also been thinking about what it means to be Korean American, and I think it really boils down to the explicit and implicit signals that we get from the people around us, and then critically, whom we choose to listen to. And I can't think of a better person to have influenced the past 30 or 40 years of new generations of Koreans that have come through this camp than you. So I just wanted to say, I think you've done a wonderful job, both in your own home and through this camp, and I love you a lot, and I'm proud to be your son.
What can I say about Doug Kim, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who eliminated the Bruno threat, pulled Excalibur from the stone, and also rumored to have fought Bruce Lee and beat him in an underground fight club back in the day. Well, basically, I'm terrified of him. I've always been terrified of him, even to this day. I mean, the punishments he used to put us through when I was a camper probably are illegal today. And also, we could never get away with anything. We'd be talking in our bunks about how we could dunk Doug into the lake. But he would just magically appear on the top bunk when we were planning and just say, "Nice try, boys. Drop and give me 50 push-ups, one-handed." But the real thing I want to say to Doug is congratulations on your camp retirement. And thank you so much for keeping camp alive all these years to the point where I can now send my kids to camp and one's on staff. So congratulations, Doug, and thanks again for everything.
Hey, Doug, it's Edmund. Just want to say thank you. There are so many memories that I can recall from all the years of being in Sae Jong Camp with you there. From you creeping around the beach at night in tactical gear looking for us, to making us do calisthenics when we weren't quiet in our bunk, to us throwing you in the lake about 20 years ago, and when you looked at us and you told us revenge is a dish best served cold. We're still waiting for that revenge, Doug. So maybe it'll happen when in the next 20 years, who knows? But want to thank you for everything you've done. You've kept Sae Jong Camp going strong for so many years. You've been the one kind of source of continuity for the last 30 some odd years, and one thing that you've kept in Sae Jong Camp is keeping it Korean. and you brought so much pride in Korea for myself and all those who've come to camp. Made a profound impact on my life specifically, and I just remember all the things that you taught me some 30 years ago. And as a camper and as a counselor, and you carry those lessons on and have taught my niece and Zoe and my nephew and Asa and some of my friends' children as well. And I hoped, I have so much pride in Sae Jong Camp because of you. I hope to bring my children there one day too. So thank you for everything. It's sad that you're leaving, but I think you're leaving it in good hands. And I hope that we get to see each other again. And I will be wearing my swimsuit, so you can't get me because we got you in full normal clothes. So that was, I'm sure it wasn't very pleasant. Anyway, thanks a lot, Doug. You're a blessed person and you've done so much for so many people.
Hey, Doug. Just wanted to give you a huge thanks for everything that you've done for SJC and for me personally. I've been coming here for 12 years as both a camper and a staff member. And so camp has obviously been very important to me. Not only have I been given the opportunity to learn more about my Korean American heritage and identity, but I've also made countless friends that I'm still super close with to this day. So really thank you for everything you've done for me, for SJC, and for the thousands of kids that have been coming here for the past 50 years. We're really gonna miss you.
Hey, Doug. Wow, pretty incredible to think that Sae Jong Camp is now coming up on its 50th anniversary. Who knew that it would continue to run this long? I know a lot of that has to do with your passion and love for camp and your dedication to returning year after year after year to make sure that things ran smoothly. So now that you're finally going to be stepping away for good, I think a few words of appreciation are in order. I know that it was a labor of love because it certainly wasn't the high compensation, right? Anyway, I think the experience of camp has touched the lives of so many people, including myself. And we carry those memories forward with us and the lessons that we've learned, right? Still utilize a lot of your wisdom, right? Two things: safety first. Make sure you return with the same number of campers you started with, right? Kind of crystallized, hey, what matters, and what doesn't, right? But good or bad, I think the vast majority of campers that have walked those hallowed grounds have had very positive experiences, and I know so many friendships have been born out of that. So thank you for the legacy that you leave behind and for being such a good caretaker. And certainly wish you all the best in the next phase of your life, and best of luck.
What is there to say to this living legend, the man who has been at the helm for Sae Jong Camp for years and years, and without whom I wouldn't be here? I'll give you a quick story. So my grandparents and Doug's parents were some of the founding families that started Sae Jong Camp back in the 60s. And during that time, my grandfather and my grandmother and their kids, my mom included, all went to this camp on the shores of Lake Higgins. And got to know each other really well. And over time, as the camp started to become more of an official thing and started to become taking on a life of its own, Doug was looking for more people to be counselors at Sae Jong Camp. And so, he moved out to the Bay Area. He had met through church my grandmother on my dad's side, who volunteered my father to potentially be a new counselor at Sae Jong Camp in the early years back in the 80s. My dad went out and fell in love with my mom, who was a counselor there as well. And 30 some odd years later, here I am. So as much as my parents hate to admit it, because Doug never holds it over their head, He's the reason that they met and the reason that I'm here today. And so it's really special. Sae Jong Camp and Doug hold a really special place in my heart and my family's heart for all the contributions that they've made, both for us personally as well as for the community that has become Sae Jong Camp over the decades, almost 50 years. So just can't say enough about Doug. You have been a constant in my life, though we don't talk all the time, but every time we do, it's full of wisdom, it's full of history, it's full of stories, to make a long story short, and they're always long. It's full of laughter, and it's full of pain, because you always pull my finger or do some crazy martial arts thing to make me hurt with little movement. But absolutely love you, respect you, and I'm so thankful for everything that you've given throughout your life to Sae Jong Camp. And I'll leave you with one last thing, probably my favorite memory of Doug amongst the many that I have, especially listening to my dad and Doug argue over useless things over the years, or the history lessons that I've gotten in the car rides from Detroit out to Roscommon. I'll leave you with my favorite memory. So this is my first year on staff, and of course it started with the old tradition of throwing people into the lake. They wanted to throw Doug in, and we had been plotting this for hours leading up to it because we had to find the right time. He's really wily and surprisingly strong, and we got to catch him by surprise and yada yada, because he always knows when it's coming. So we were able to kind of surprise him, but of course Doug being a good sport, and look at Bonnie in the background, absolutely loving it. Doug being a good sport lets us put him into the water. So we're picking him up. We're all kind of struggling to get him up, and then he starts fighting. So he allows us to pick him up, but he really starts fighting as we have him in his arms. And this is my favorite picture of Doug and I together. I just get a full foot, dirty foot, because he'd been walking around camp barefoot for probably days. Dirty foot to the face, and I'll never forget that. But look at the joy on Doug's face, just having the time of his freaking life. And we loved these images so much that I can't remember who it was, but we decided to make a tribute to Doug with stickers. And I look at this thing every single day because it's the water bottle that I use most often. And it's got Doug's smiling face, and I'm reminded of that time that he kicked me with his nasty toes as we dragged him. Took 7 of us to drag him into the water and dip him in the lake. Doug, we love you. We're so grateful for you. We're so excited for you as you ride off into the sunset in retirement. You're an absolute legend. We appreciate everything that you've done, and wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Doug. Honored to follow in your footsteps, and I hope I make you proud.
Hey, Doug. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug. 감사합니다, Doug. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug. 감사합니다.